Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm T with Teresa H Creates, and I wanted to do a quick folio video. I created this folio earlier in the year when I was trying to do some stash busting projects for the Carta Spring Market collection, and I had just some leftover papers and I made this little folio. Just kind of threw it together. But I did have someone request that I actually do a tutorial on this. So I wanted to go ahead and show you the steps on how to make this little folio. I think it's a great way to do some stash busting. And if you're a card maker, this is a great way to gift greeting cards to people. And I just put a couple of them in there, but I thought it would make a cute little gift. Now, the one thing that I did on this one that I want to change this time is that I don't feel like I gave myself enough space here. So I did 1/8 of an inch on this side and I did 1/4 of an inch on this side. And I'm going to change it up in this next project. And I am going to do 1/4 of an inch on this side and then 1/2 an inch on this side so that we have a little bit more space. And for today's project, I went through my stash and I found a collection by PhotoPlay. It is beautiful junk. And I picked this up probably in a haul, like a Facebook Marketplace haul, or it might have been picked up in a D-stash. I've done so many of them over the past year that I'm just not even sure where I got everything. It was previously loved, so I just have a lot of scraps and I have a few 12 by 12 pages. And then I also have these rub-ons and then some ephemera pieces. So let's dig in and see what we would like to use as our base. Let me move these scraps aside. Okay. And I really want something. Oh, this is pretty. That would be pretty like across the back. What is this side? Oh, okay. Well, I'm not in love with that, huh? I don't know. Maybe this isn't going to be a good collection for this. I don't have very many sheets. Okay, there's this. That's a lot. But if I put that on the inside. All right, so my journal measures 5 by 6.5. So it's 12 inches lengthwise, and then height-wise, I am going to cut it down to 7 inches because I am going to score part of the bottom to use to make gussets for those pockets. So then it'll be at 6.5 when we're done. So let me go ahead and cut this down to 12 by 7. All right, I have my 12 by 7 sheet. And let me pull my scoreboard out and I'll go ahead and give you the measurements for this. If you're wanting to make one taller, obviously you would just increase the length here or the height here, and then you're going to score at 1/2 inch on the bottom. So I want 5 across the back. I'm going to start in the center at 6 inches and I'm going to go 1, 2.5. So I'm going to score at 8.5, and I'll put these measurements in the description box. This is going to be my smaller section. So then we're going to score at 8 3/4. All right, now we're going to go back this way. So we're at 6, 1, 2.5. So 3.5 inches. And again, I will leave these measurements in the description box. And then again at 3 inches. So this is going to be my 1/2 inch side. So it'll close up like this. Now I'm going to flip it. This is the top here. So I'm placing the top in this corner. This is the bottom. And then I'm going to score at 6.5. Nice. See, super simple. Easy, easy. Now I'm going to kind of reinforce my score lines by burnishing those. Let's see. We'll go further out on the 1/2 inch. And then here on the 1/4 inch. I hate to hide all of this, but I can probably mimic something on this side. So it'll be fine. Okay. Now that I've got those folded, I am going to go ahead and miter these guys here. So I'm going to cut to that score line. I'm going to go in a little bit and cut to this score line. Make sure I can see where it is. It might be a little bit hard for you guys to see. Oh, it might be easier on this side, actually, without all the pattern. Okay, then I'm going to miter here and here and here and here. And for now, we can just kind of fold these up and out of the way and leave them alone. I'm not going to remove them just yet. Now let's think about reinforcing our folio. So this Carta paper, it is much thicker than this paper is right here. It's got a texture to it and it's just a lot more solid. I didn't have to do a lot of reinforcing on this one, but I am going to have to do some reinforcing on this one. So I did pull out a couple of my washies and I will select one of these. I don't know, that dark one or the butterflies. There are a lot of butterflies in this collection. Let's go ahead and do the butterflies on this one. So I am going to reinforce the ends of these pages. If I can find the beginning and end of my washi. All right. I am going to use some of my liquid glue to help here. Straight line, I am going to put it right up here. I don't trust the adhesive on washi to stay for the long term, so I always put a little bit of liquid glue down. Just to help keep it down. All right, I'm going to flip it over, put some glue down on this side, and fold over. I'm going to burnish it a little bit, make sure it's on there really well. Okay, now let's do this side. The paper's so thin here, this washi is just going to help lend some support with all the opening and closing. It will just protect the opening of this folio. Let me see, get that in there. Flip it over and fold. These are super easy to make, and I really do think that they make cute little gifts. You know, it would be nice making something like this for Christmas, and then instead of doing like the big tags, you could do like gift tags, like present tags. That would be really cute. I'm gonna trim this. That would be cute. You could have a couple of Christmas cards in there, and then you could do some gift tags. Maybe we'll do that. We'll come back and do something like that. I'm also going to reinforce these spines here. And in this one, I ended up just folding this over because I wanted to have this covered as well, this end. So I ended up just folding them over. You really don't even notice it when they're opened up. So if you wanted to go that route and you wanted to fold these up, all you would do is come in and you're going to just miter the opposite direction here. So you're gonna make these little triangles here and you're gonna be left with a larger triangle in the center, like so, and then you'll just fold it up and you would glue it down in there. Same on each side. So I'm actually going to go ahead and leave these and reinforce the bottom score line here. Fold that up. So then when you're looking at the bottom of this, it'll be a nice folded edge, right? Right. All right, let me pop that in. And then I went ahead and pre-cut some strips. And then we are going to put those in here. So I cut this one just shy of 1/4 of an inch so that it would fit in that space. I'm going to run glue right along this edge. And this was just some of the scrap that was still left. I'm going to run it from bottom to top. And then let's give it a fold and make sure, see, you want to make sure it's just shy of 1/4 of an inch because you want it to be able to fold without without crinkling. So let me go ahead and burnish this down, make sure it's nice and adhered. Plus it's going to break up that pattern in here. And I think that that's something that's needed to kind of break up this pattern. It's pretty busy on the inside. So this is the 1/2 inch. So I cut this strip just a little bit shy of the 1/2 inch so that, again, I would be able to reinforce the spine, but then also fold up the little booklet. See? Perfect. Let's go ahead and burnish this down. And then again, I'm going to trim it up. You could do the same thing on the outside spine if you wanted. I think that we probably will, just because I think it also needs a little bit of something, a little bit of color. Let's move on to our pockets. Let's go ahead and get those done. It is really busy in the background, so I really want things I think that are going to be a little bit more neutral, kind of tone it down a little bit. So let's go to these scraps that I've got here. I think that that's a little bit too toned down. Maybe something like this. Oh, that's pretty too, though. Possibly. These scraps aren't very big. I could cut into this, or I could use some of this. Let's see what that looks like. So let's see, I think if we did like a 1/2 and 1/2 here, that would work. You can make your pockets as tall or as short as you want to. Oh, we've still got this too. This would tie in the back page. So if I did this, I think I'm going to do that in the center, and I'll do this on the side. I don't know. Let me make some cuts and we'll figure it out. So we know it's 5 inches on the back here. So I do want to leave some extra on the side because I'm going to fold these in. We're going to score in. So let's take it to 6. So we have a 1/2 inch on each side. There we go. So that's there. Okay, I do want to put a decorative trim on these. This is kind of my go-to. Trying to figure out which way I want this for sure. And I think we're going to go this way. So let me trim this up. All right. The easiest way I have found to do this is that you kind of center it up here, and then you can go ahead and make your marks. I'll bring my scoreboard back out. And I'm going to score where we made our little tick marks. And they may or may not be even on each side, depending on how centered you got them, right? But I want to make this little gusset, so let's give this one a shot and see how this looks. So if I do this and fold it up, it fits right in there, and that works. It doesn't come off the side, and it doesn't impede folding on this side. So there we go. So let's keep going. We'll do our large pocket. And then it's marked here. And so this is almost pretty exact. It might be just a tiny bit smaller, but I'm okay with that. Just go to your nearest score line. There we go. I work in approximates, not exacts. Okay, so let's go ahead and burnish our score lines. All right, and then we are going to go ahead and miter these as well. So I'm going to go in a little bit here and here and here and here. Same on this side. And I know that we cut that lace trim. It's fine. We did a decorative trim on all of these, and it is fine to go ahead and trim that off. No problems. All right. Let's go ahead and ink up these edges before we put it down. I'm really just worried about getting this top here and then getting these sides. Get the top and the sides. Okay, now let's attach. We'll go ahead and start with the big one. So I'm going to slide this into place here. So when I went to fold this up, it's actually catching here. So I am just going to go ahead and miter it a little bit more on this side and bring it in. Not a problem. All right, I'm going to put glue down here. Now, what I am going to do is put a little bit of washi down here. It's not going to be visible, but as you're slipping your projects in and out, it'll prevent it from catching on the lip of this paper, right? All right, let's fold those in and give these a glue down. And now we have a gusseted pocket. We do want it to glue down nicely. I don't want to glue the pocket down completely. Let's see. Okay, let's go to our next one. I think this one goes over here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through the rest of this and put these other pockets on. They are all glued down. So something you do want to do is you want to make sure that you don't get glue too close to the edge on the inside of that flap, so that you're not gluing your pocket down, you know, and that you still have the little gusseted area. So now we have these gusseted pockets and we have a nice straight bottom here. Let's go ahead and ink this up. Putting that strip of cardstock in here really helped hold these and make them a lot more solid. So this is what we look like so far, and let's go ahead and see what else we want to add to this. Let me get some of the inside of this. Really want this kind of grunged up looking. We can add another little pocket here. Let's see what we've got. I wonder if any of this ephemera would make a little makeshift pocket. Might be able to use this. You can cut it down. And this one doesn't need to be gusseted, you know. We can just make a simple little pocket with this one. So what did we say that this side was? It was 3 inches, I believe. Is that about right? That is right on the money. All right, let me put a little notch at the top. My circle punch. I've got a little notch. Let's ink this up, not with the black ink. I reached for my dauber with the black soot on it. No, thank you. All right, and this is just a simple little pocket. Put that right there. All right, let's see what else we've got. I'm going to go to some of my ephemera. I did go ahead and pre-make some ephemera for this. Got some ephemera here on the side. Let me see what I have got that I might be able to. Oh, I like this. Oh, let's put that there. Yep. That looks good there. And then I've also got like a little label. Where could we put this? I don't really want to cover it up, but we could put it. It's already got a label there. Let's see. I want a label here. To break this up, what does this look like? Yeah, let's break it up with that. I like it. Or we could put it on the back. What do we think? Let's put it on the back here. And then someone can add whatever sentiment or title that they want in there. All right. We will put this here, right in the center. How cute. These have a lot of pattern. They're pretty busy, so I don't think that I'll add any more to that. I could put a heart here that blocks a lot of that though. Could put it up here. We want it to be decorative. Let's go ahead and fill up some of these pockets and let's see what we've got. So first and foremost, let's go ahead and put our cards in. So I've got 2 envelopes to go with the 2 cards that I made using this paper. So they fit right in there like a glove. I do have a larger journaling card, which I could put in there as well. Will it fit? Yep, it fits. Let me slide it down. I love being able to see like all the different layers here. Okay. And then let's see where these guys fit. This little journaling card can go there. I do have some of these guys. So I could always attach those, right? Let me go ahead and attach that to this journaling card. That way it's not lost in that pocket. Perfect. Isn't that gorgeous? That's really pretty. Okay, let's see what else we've got. Look, I've got all these tiny little tags. Oh, they're perfect for up here. I don't have to use everything. Move some of this aside. What goes with this? These 2 definitely. I think I'm going to put this journaling card that fits right in there too. Look at this little journaling card. Isn't that adorable? That's a rub on there. Let's put that there. We'll put that on top. There's another little journaling card with a rub on. So I've got 3 tags up here. I think that I am going to add this here and put it over in this other pocket. All right. You know what? All of those are kind of low because I didn't make any like really big, really tall tags. So, because this is a good place for you to put your tall tags, is over here on this side. So I'm going to put that down to kind of add something to that background. And then we'll slip these in here. There's a couple of tags. See, you can actually put quite a bit in here, right? So I don't have to use everything. So I've got a journaling card, a small tag. You know what? I'm going to pull one of these out. I love this in there. I love this in there. Let's do this. So 1, 2, and 3. How pretty is that? What do you guys think? Isn't that pretty? So you can put quite a bit in there. So I've got 2 cards, 2 envelopes, and this is on that Nina Solar White cardstock. So that's actually like really thick cardstock. And I've got this one journaling card. We've got a little decorative element here. We've got 3 tags and a journaling card. We've got 3 journaling cards, and then we have 3 tags. And look at that. You could even add more if you wanted to. Okay, let's see what we want to do for the front of this. What is that going to look like? I do have some of this ribbon. This is what I'm going to use as the closure. So let me go ahead and trim it. I want a nice big bow. There we go. We shouldn't need more than that, but let's look at something that we might be able to put down here. It's way too big. That is way too big. I really like this piece right here. I think that's what I'm going to do. Let me go ahead and round these corners. I might layer it up just a bit. So if we put this here like this. All right, let's figure out how I'm going to position this. I want a really flat piece in here to attach this on. Okay. And then this should be longer on this side than here because it's going to come up this way. Okay, so that's about right. I'm going to use some of this tape. Where do we say, like right there? Okay, I'm going to use a combination of tape, double-sided tape, and wet glue to put this down. All right. And then I'm going to put this down here. And then this will go on top of that here. There we go. And then we tie it here. Perfect. Okay, let me clean this off and then we'll come back and do a real quick flip through. And I'm back. This is the little folio that we just completed. This is the little folio that I used as an example that I did in my stash busting. And then this is another one that I made from some scraps that I had. But let's take a look at this one first. I know that I already showed this, but I wanted to show it in more detail. So this string on this side is a little bit longer because it wraps around to this side to tie. But here are little pockets. There are the tags that are in there. Little tags in here, and then two cards, two greeting cards in there. And then here are, this is a single pocket, and I made some taller tags and journaling cards to go over here on this side. So again, we're reinforcing the edge of this so that it doesn't get frayed and bent up with a little bit of washi tape. And then I did put a little image on the back side of that. And this one I made with some scraps. I received the Echo Park Sunny Days Ahead collection in a mystery box from Country Craft Creations, and I used it for my sheet load of cards, and I had all these extras, and so I thought, well, I'll go ahead and make some more. So these are two of the cards that I made for my sheet load. They're in there, and then there's a large journaling card in there. These are so sweet. I put a little cherry here. I used larger pockets on this one, so I didn't do the double pocket on this side, but I did put some taller tags and things in here that I had made. Staying cool. I've got the little glasses here to help reinforce the spine, the sunglasses, and the sunglasses here again. And on this side, I just did some smaller journaling tags here, or journaling cards. So I didn't do another pocket up here, but I did put the little image up there. And then this, on the back of this, shine. I used some of the ephemera that I still had and put shine back there. So they slip in nice and easy, in and out, because of these nice gussets on here. So we got a lot of space. Today's looking bright. Every summer has a story. I did go ahead and do some vellum butterflies. I left them a little bit loose. I didn't glue them down completely so that it had some dimension. I did put a piece of cardstock on the outside of this to help. So on the spine, it's got two sets of double pattern paper cardstock. There's the back, and then again the little strip there. And then the one that we just made, I did make one change. I did go back and I did add some cardstock there to help reinforce that spine on each side. So now it's got some color. Plus we broke up that beige color there on the sides of that. So we open this up. We've got the double pockets. We've got the little tags up here. We've got some journaling cards down here. We've got a large journaling card here. I put the little heart there to kind of break up that pattern because I didn't do any of the really tall tags up here. I just did tags that were kind of in this collection. So that's what those look like. And then we added some little flourishes and butterflies to this side. Again, we've got the butterfly washi here to help reinforce those edges to keep them from fraying. We did some rub on up here. Got a little label, little definition, front and back. Every layer, again, that you add to this just helps to support the paper, which is really important if you're using a thinner cardstock to do this. This particular cardstock, this Carta, there weren't any problems with it. It was pretty substantial. That cardstock's a lot thicker, so I feel like it's held up pretty well. I did it again, I think at the beginning of the year is when I made that. I was trying to do some stash busting and had already made a ton of cards. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to make a little folio to give away some of those cards. So that was kind of just the idea behind that. But I did want to do it in a way that I could use the gusseted pockets to put those cards in there. So that's what that looks like. But that's it. Okay, if you have any questions about anything that I used today, any of the products or collections that I used, just put them down in the comment section. If you have any questions about the whole process, again, comment section and I'll be sure to reply. If you want the measurements and the score lines, I have those and I'll put those down in the description box. Thanks for spending some time with me, and until next time, bye.